Hello.
Hi.
How are you? I don't know the time. I saw the 12 to 1 close, but I didn't look at the time before I tried the door. Do you have the time?
It's 11 o'clock.
Then I should be saying good morning. I should be saying good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Going through a complaint process with the ministry. There are forms, proper forms to be filled out, are there not?
Complaint for...
Direction under ombudsperson, to start a complaint process.
Okay, well, this is just for child protection. So
I know it's child protection. This is a different case. This is revolving a child protection case that started in Ontario in 1993 and worked its way right into this Duncan office. And I started working on it as a child family advocate in 2006. And I need the paperwork. That's all I'm going to say here right now.
Okay, so you're looking at release of information? Is that what you're looking for?
Oh, there's a lot more than that. There's a dead child involved with this, ma'am.
Okay, so are you looking for release of information now?
Well, I've got quite a bit myself, including the paper trail from social workers in Ontario right to here.
I'm just asking, are you looking for release of information? Or
I am probably, I guess, considering I have the letter back from the ombudsperson, I'm not going to share the details of it, but begin the complaint process. So the complaint process would be starting to talk to a social worker and ask why in November 2018, when pages and pages and pages of reports on the history of this was submitted through JAIA, through the national report number, okay, here in BC, whatever the number is, that it was confirmed that she received them, confirmed that the office needed to be getting them. Copies of them were sent out to the children's aid workers in Ontario because I was having communication with them because I was also doing advocacy work for this person at the time. And they assured me they'd be forwarding it here. So I probably need to start speaking with the person who hasn't.
So who's the worker?
Who's the worker? Well, I can give you the name of Vanessa Porter. I can give you the name of Kim McLeod is involved with this case. I saw Susan Preddy. Says Susan still in charge here?
Susan who?
Preddy. She's still in. Is Susan Preddy still?
Preddy, yeah.
She's still in charge here? Well, she took
Susan
over
Preddy
from Marcia.
Street office.
She what? Sorry? Is there another office here?
Yes, sorry, Susan Preddy. Yeah, no.
Well, she took over from Marcia Howard. I've been doing this a lot. I've been doing this a long time. Yeah, I've been doing this job a long time. Okay. Well, I know the people. So Susan isn't still in charge of this office, is she?
Marcia Howard is the director of operations here.
Is she? Okay. Yeah. You still got Kim McLeod here?
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Okay. Well, it should from 2016. Especially March 15th, because I've seen a letter written by her.
I would have to look it up.
Yeah, well, I know of a letter, and I've seen the letter. It was written March 15, 2016. Vanessa Porter, I believe Vanessa Porter transferred.
Okay, so what are you looking for?
I have to start this complaint process. What do? Do I start talking with a social worker and dump it on them and go, why weren't these reports that were sent to you guys and to Children's Aid in Ontario that were sent to this office because she forwarded them here and I've got the paper trail, where they never responded to, and you received them in November 2018. It's an ugly case, ma'am, but there is a dead child involved with this, and I have been down to the RCMP 3 days ago, released a lot of this. There is a file open on it, and they are going to be investigating this child that they do not know about yet. They know about it now. And now I'm talking with you guys. So, where do we start on this? I'm sorry for my anxiety, but it's starting to get frustrating. This is not a good case, and I need to know where to start with you guys to start getting this sorted out. Because this is a massive... And I've got the paper trail. And I've got the paper trail from the CAS, with her being flagged, is diagnosed by 6 psychologists out there, unfit, over 14 years, all her children, 7 taken away out there, and her having more here in Duncan, and one of them's dead. And you guys have already removed kid number 9, well,
okay,
8.
So you're not looking for a release of information?
We are looking for how to start this whole process, because the sentence they say is to start it at the beginning. And they have also directed me with the problems with RCMP not knowing about this, that maybe the CRCC needs to be involved with this. It's an ugly case, guys. Yeah, well, it's a long story, and the story starts back in 2007 when this person moved from Ontario to Duncan, and there are 2 more kids happen. I mean, we can kind of forget the history of Ontario, except she was...
guardianship of a child currently?
Do I have guardianship? I have paperwork from the past involving the child that is not dead. Signed paper stamped by you guys that I was the advocate for this person at this time. Yeah, I'm pretty involved with the case. I mean, I did advocacy work right from the time this person moved here.
Do you have a child in your care right now?
No.
No, okay.
God, no, I'm 62 now. I just got out of the hospital again after another heart attack, so
it
no.
sounds like it would be centralized screening because you don't live in the...
Oh, I've talked to Jay. I can dump the 5 pages of reports on your lap for you guys to start reading right now. But I'm not doing that because I'm going to be doing this in a social worker's presence, so these reports are accurately taken.
They are the social workers. That's why I gave you the card. They are the social...
Right, but it's not going to be done over the telephone.
No, but they would give
They
you...
start the process there.
And they give you a social worker.
Okay. With the central screening. Now, you spoke about the Craig Street because I didn't know about this. I've lived here a long time.
Yeah, just because of Susan Preddy, when you mentioned Susan
That's
Preddy.
where
But
she is
I gave
now.
you centralized screening because they will give you a social worker, a real person, a social worker that you can work with.
Right. Okay.
Right? So then you can move forward from there.
Yeah.
We just don't start any processes here in the office.
It's been a long time since I've been in here. That's why I was asking who's in
Yeah.
charge, right? But I do know that Marcia used to be, I'm well aware, you know, I've been doing this child advocacy work for quite some time, okay? A lot of it is child protection. I do it on all different levels. Right now I'm doing it representing the flood victims out of the apartment building down by the police station. 7 months later, they're all trying to get their homes back still. Anyway, thank you for your time. Sorry about the anxiety coming
No, that's
across.
fine.
This has been a very terrible ordeal to deal with, and when the child died, and in fact the child died back in 2007,
Right.
about 5 months after she came here. Okay, so we need to get the ball rolling on this because the boys down there with their stripes are involved with this too, and I spoke with them a few days ago, so I thought I need to do what these guys have said, which is start the complaint
So that
process.
should help.
You have been a great help because I really am a little rusty at this and have not been doing a lot of it lately, you know, but I knew this has been something that's been put aside for about 2.5 years now, and it needs to get rolling. Yeah, a lot of concerns in this one.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
And yeah, I will talk to them about that cannabis distribution thing because I did not feel
They
easy.
should be able to help
The moment that the mom came and said, well, we gave it to the kids, here's some bags that we gave them, and I'm going,
Yeah.
you've got
So
your
they can help you with
got your whole family involved? No! Thank you for your
You're
time.
welcome.
Take care.
You too.
Hey, good day. How are you? Oh, I am enjoying the weather, so I'm feeling a lot better because I deal with tons of arthritis, and this warm weather is fantastic. Yeah. I was just over at the office on 4th Street, and it's been a while since I'd been in there, and I didn't know actually that I believe she said Susan Preddy is down here now.
Okay.
I didn't. That's correct. Correct.
Right now, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that's temporarily.
Just yes. So that's
Okay. I just spoke with them in detail, and obviously we're going to have to start this from scratch. I'm a child family advocate. I've been following a child protection case that started in Ontario, well, originally 1993, and I became involved with it, heard about it 2006, became involved with it in 2007 over the internet. Most of my work is advocacy work all the way across Canada.
okay.
It was quite a serious child protection case that involved removal or forced adoption of 7 children out there. I've seen a lot of the paperwork. I did the advocacy work for this individual. I started helping them with the case and stuff. Anyway, I'll just give you the quick brief of what went on in Ontario. The end result, by February 2007, the youngest 4 of our children that were from another second father were permanently apprehended because of severe abuse, severe neglect, deprivation. Okay, I've seen all the court papers and stuff. Right? I'm just covering what went on. She also had through the 14-year period out there at that time. The kids were taken over 14 years, 7 altogether. Anyway, over that time she had been psychologically assessed, court-ordered. I believe I read 6 assessments by, I think, 5 different psychologists through the years. Clinically diagnosed unfit to have parents. All children were removed for this reason. There was definitely, once the final psychologist had written that he had been exhibiting terrible behaviors by the children in foster care that were definitely, neglect, deprivation. Anyway, longer story short, this person was flagged Canada-wide. Okay, I have a copy of an email from the social worker that was in control of the youngest 4 children, stating that, the long and short is, she was flagged, and in all likelihood, any more children that she gave to would be apprehended at birth because of the history, okay? Anyway, this case made its way to Duncan, British Columbia, to the very office that was there, over there, when things were handling, when Marcia, I think Marcia was still in charge, Marcia, or maybe Susan was over there then, I don't know. Anyway, it involves 2 more children out here, one of them is dead. Okay, and this has now hit the fan because it is now involving the police. And you can see who these people are without me showing you the letter. But this is a letter back directing me we start the complaint process. Now, the problem where this has really arisen is very detailed, full reports were written on all the history of this. I released all these reports both to a lady named Jaya over the 1-800 number for reporting for BC. Long, detailed conversation. All the emails were sent. We stayed on the phone until she received all the information she needed to, et cetera, et cetera. Copies of these also had to be sent out to the Children's Aid Society in Ontario because there was talk of this person when they were here trying to get their other kids back out of care, and there were all kinds of problems here straight away.
Did you need to speak to Susan about this?
Well, you know something, I have been doing this kind of work for a long time. The simple direction is after the ombudsperson was quite involved in a lengthy discussion of this, obviously. They know that we started at square one. So where the problem was is the paperwork that I mentioned that was submitted in November 2018, copies of it also went to the Children's Aid. I have the paper trail from them saying they're going to be sending it to Duncan. This was the Children's Aid and Society. I've got the email copy of that correspondence. I have the paper trails, right? I'm not just talking when I do this, okay? I've been doing this job a long time. And what's ended up happening is my understanding in their email is that it was this office. I know that when I did these reports that she received all the reports, nothing was talked to me, nothing as far as I can tell was done about this, and that was November about 24th, 2018. I put this case aside. There are lots of other involving things with this particular person, including being arrested for assault, okay, by the police in 2016. This is the same person that made their way here to Duncan, BC. And the police are involved with all kinds of other reasons for that, but the minute that they heard where it had been first reported about the unborn dead child that occurred here in December 2007, 6 months after she moved here, did not get reported to them. And you guys know about it because I have the paper trail, and I also know that a lady named Tanis on December 12th called this person into the Duncan office because they received the flagged report from the CAS in Ontario, and 10 days later that child was dead. So this is where we're going to start. We need to talk to somebody quite far up, because it's going far up. Okay? I'm being directed to bring in the CC to start inquiries with what the RCMP maybe not have done, should have done, whatever. This got thrown on their lap 3 days ago. It had not, and I am letting you know between you and me, they started focusing when they started taking particulars when I started speaking about the dead unborn child, okay? This person was clearly flagged, and what's ended up happening is there's a problem with the ministry office. When I know that that whole file from CAS with all the assessments and stuff arrived in Duncan, because I read Duncan's paperwork and it corresponds in notes and stuff, they knew. They knew, and this person not only had a child that ended up dead in 2007, but had another one, and now I know that you guys also apprehended that when I pulled out of this case halfway through 2016. Whether that child is now back in this person's care, I don't know. We're going to find that out, because I do know that this child that I was around and advocating for, along with the mother, since well before it was born here in Duncan, this is the child number 9, 8 died, is old enough to now have a lawyer. And as an advocate, I am going to be speaking up with my involvement of this case to see whether this can be done in court. That is not what you need to hear. I'm not here lecturing them. Some of my anxiety is coming out. This has been a terribly long, awful child protection ordeal case. My advocacy work that I've done through the years has mainly been child protection, but when I know there's bad parents, you are the first people I am talking to. And you guys are well aware. I have an extensive paper trail. I can bring probably a 2-foot paper trail that includes videos, screen captures, complete paper trails of this, everything I've told you here today. I mean, what I'm telling you is what I'm telling the police, except I'm mainly focused on the child protection stuff here with you. But that's what they heard 3 days ago, okay? What do we do? Who do I talk to? We need to start a file. I have a file number from the Ombudsman. It was from a while ago, because it was when I made the reports and I was getting no response, right? And I haven't talked to him for quite some time. I had a heart attack and I'm still recovering from that and stuff. But I'm back. And this isn't going to go away. And there's going to be criminal charges, as far as I can tell, starting to be looked at for other matters, including the same person. So they are going to be inquiring. Who would you suggest? I know Marcia Hauer is now Director of Operations. I have dealt in a child protection case with the Duncan way back here to 2005, 2006 that was quite involving, and I know I spoke personally with Marcia Hauer numerous times, Francis Thiessen, you know, there's a few. But who's involved with this case personally I know is Kim McLeod, Vanessa Porter, who I do not know. These are the names of the people that I have in the paperwork. I believe she's transferred out of the child protection. I can't confirm that. Kim McLeod's name is in there. Francis Thiessen's name's in there. And I also have a copy of you guys put a child protection order on that 9th child that was born, an interim one for the first 6 months. And I believe I saw Susan Preddy's signature on that. So definitely at that time, Susan was in charge of, I mean, that was the plan of care order, right? The interim supervision and stuff. I don't have all the paperwork with me. It's more paperwork than I can ever do unless I had a trailer behind Holly. We need to find some humor, ma'am. I tried to find it just simply to keep my nerves in check with stuff like this. And I'm getting on in my years, right? I'm getting quite old now. I've bombed you with a lot. Thank you for being patient and listening to me say it, but what I wanted to do is cover this with you briefly so you can now hear. Anyway, sorry to bomb you with the first part. You know, thank you for your patience and your ears on this. Where do we go? Where do I start? I am here to fully cooperate and work, but I don't want any stone walls. And if Susan or Marcia just brushes this off.
You want to speak to Susan? Is that what you're
Well, this is probably going to take an appointment because, you know, we're not going to stand at the darn counter and do what we're doing.
So what I can do is, I believe she's in a meeting right now.
That's okay. It's Friday, and it's Friday afternoon, and it's a beautiful day, and the last thing I would hate to have to do to Susan is bomb this, because there's some concerns with, obviously, what I told you about the no response from the report and stuff, okay? Like, you can probably fathom I have a few bones to pick as to why hasn't certain things. More than anything, man, as a child protection advocate, what I do, what the hell is going on that assessments and reports diagnosing somebody unfit comes to Duncan, and children aren't dealt with at apprehension of birth. Kid number 9, or 9, the child that you guys apprehended in 2016, I was at the hospital when it was born. That's how close I'm involved with this case. And outside in the hallway was a social worker poking ahead and keeping an eye on things. So, I've got the paper trail. I'm not just here talking. I can show this to the relevant people, but I'm not packing it all in here with me today because it will drive you absolutely bonkers. I've been on this case for a long time, eh? Yeah.
Okay, so what I can do is, since Susan's in a meeting, is give you one of our things to fill out with a message for Susan, and then pass it on to Susan.
Yeah, and I'd like to stamp by you guys so I have the record that I've been in here today picking up this paper, okay? I'm not trying to honk my horn, but I'm good, and I deal with disabilities and hearing loss and other things, and I keep very thorough paper trails on what's going on. I have to do this for personal reasons. Okay, no message to worker, no, I want something with some proper letterhead and stuff like that on it. Susan, do you have a business card for Susan here?
I don't believe so. I'll have a look.
Does Kim McLeod work out of this office?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, I know there's a letter that was written to this person in March 15th, dated March 15th, 2016. So I know in 2016 she was still around. But I mean, these are, I've asked to name the social workers involved, and even at the other office they didn't give me the answers, and I'm going to need to know who I'm talking about in the first part of it. I mean,
The
if
only thing I can do is I can stamp it, give you a copy of it that you've written it, that's what I'm going to be giving to Susan to pass on.
Okay.
I don't have any letterhead or anything that I can give on that.
already. Do you have contact information for Susan, or I could make a call to her? Does she have an extension number here or something? I mean, I won't bother her today. I mean, the police just caught wind of this a while ago.
Numbers, and then you can call in and ask to speak to her, if that helps.
Yeah, I'm not going to do much of it over the phone because of my hearing loss, but it would mainly be to set up an appointment. I mean, I'm not going to this time say who I am, and I've been involved with child protection stuff for a long time. And to tell you quite honestly, the one in 2000 back was quite a heavy one, and it was actually a lot of ombudsperson involvement as well. So we have to get the ball rolling, because what I don't want to do is contact her back at the ombudsperson to say, look, they are not even willing to open a file on this, right? So we have to start the process, right? So the process is probably to get an appointment set up. That I can't put that in a message to Susan, right? Well, I can't. What I've just told you, ma'am.
But if you're asking for an appointment, you can just fill out and say that's what you want, or I can just take your name and phone number.
Yeah, no, I'm not disclosing my name right now. No,
Okay.
no.
So you just would like our office numbers and...
Please, a card representing what's here at this office, just to start the initial contact. I mean, there's a lawyer, but I don't use the lawyer for much of it because it's a cost every time, right? Like, I can do a lot of preliminary stuff myself to get things rolling with him.
This one is our phone number here for our office.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's great.
I don't know if the other office gave you a card for their office.
They just gave me the one, the central screening
Okay.
thing. Yeah. She she wasn't very receptive to wanting to hear what I had to say. She almost seemed to be a little defensive, and maybe, as I said, my anxiety gets projected, but it was almost like a dead kid didn't get reported, and she kind of went, right, shut up. And this is what I'm saying, that it's going to be difficult to get this started, but I don't want to go back to the ombudsperson saying, look, they don't want to even get this started, and you guys already know all about this, and the police know all of it, right? So basically what it is, I have the paper trail that's here, and it's now time to get it sorted out. That's the long and short of it, right? And that's probably what I'm going to be saying to Susan.
Okay.
Once Susan starts seeing the paperwork, she's going to know that, well, I know everything that I'm talking to you about here.
Okay.
She knows. She knows I was involved with the case through the years.
Okay.
They do. Child protection workers do. Kim McLeod does. Most definitely.
Okay,
Most
yeah.
definitely. I saw the copy of the letter that was written, so I do know for sure.
Okay.
Interesting. Have a good Friday. The weather is beautiful out there.
Yeah,
Sorry
it is.
to kind of throw this into the office here
No,
on a
that's
Friday.
okay.
You probably heard worse, but, you know, as I say, I've been doing this a long time, and I've now got concerns on both sides. I mean, I had concerns about the children right from the word go.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to see the actual file until 3 years after she came here, and then I went, Jesus. And then to put it together and see it at the Duncan office, and you all listen, I'm going, why are you letting her have kids between you and me?
Okay.
Well, she was flagged Canada-wide. Okay. I mean, if you got a CAS office social worker calling the Duncan office to let them know and give them a heads up that she was pregnant in 2007, they call her in, and 10 days later the baby's dead. Jesus Christ, man, between you and me. It's the truth. God's honest. I'm looking you straight in the eye.
Yeah.
I am a child handling advocate. Been doing this a long time. It's horrendous. Killed me personally, my personal involvement. It's very difficult to do this kind of work. I commend you people in a lot of ways, especially the workers. And right now, because things are going so haywire and lots of people are not looking after their children the way they need to be. Kids come first, no matter what. I could talk your ear off. It's almost your lunchtime, so I'll let you be. Thank you. You have a good weekend too, ma'am.